All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. I'm going to talk this morning here for a moment of one of the reasons why Pastor Dowell is loved by few and hated by many. I'm not hated by people because I've done something personally to them. There's actually nobody that I know of that can point their finger at me and said, you did this to me, therefore I hate you. Or you did this to me and that's the reason why I have an ought or fault against you. No, what's going on with myself and the ministry is that people hate me because of what I stand for and what I represent. You see, somebody needs to tell you the truth, and I'm going to be the one to do it. That's why it's called the Straightway Truth Ministries. We live in a world to where there are two different dichotomies, one false and one true. But it wouldn't be deception if the false didn't present itself as truth. That's like, when you read the book or when you hear some of these celebrities out there and say, well, I thank God. Now, mind you, Lil Wayne is thanking God for all of his many blessings. Justin Bieber is thanking God for all his many blessings and stuff. And so you got all these people out here who live obvious immoral life, obvious have given their souls over to Satan. But yet still the deception comes because there's an illusion of these people that it looks like that they are serving God because they say God and even Jesus today. But the Bible actually warns you that if someone comes and preach another Jesus, you need to mark them, note them, bear with them, and then warn everybody of the deception of it. But today we live in a world where men love darkness rather than light because what I want to do is diametrically opposed to what the Bible says. And if what I want to do and the Bible is diametrically opposed to what I want to do, then people say that God has to go. Well, anyway, I hate to tell people this, but the creator of the universe is a God of love and a God of hate. Contrary to what the Gnostic dualism, as if the Most High is fighting against himself that Christianity presents. For instance, they come up with theologies like law versus grace, faith versus works, versus works. You can go on and on and on, and they try to make you think that there's a difference between the two, and there's not. Well, the reason why I'm hated is because of this. I hate sin. Not because I have never sinned, but I know the destruction of what sin does. Therefore, I warn men. For instance, though in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, it teaches us about those of us that are believers to not keep company with one that is a fornicator. Especially, don't keep one that is a fornicator out there in the world. And so you separate yourself from them. You get away from them. You have no fellowship with them. That's the first warning. Second warning is, and if there's a brother that is known to be a fornicator, meaning a whoremonger, you definitely separate yourself from him and you put them out of the assembly. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep yourself in righteousness. You're going to keep yourself in holiness, and you're going to separate yourself from those that are pretending to be something when they're not. So you see, we can't have whoremongers, fornicators, and adulterers among us because it genders to ideology or idolatry, excuse me, and it's a bad spirit that will bring up on the assembly. Now, Jesus said that if the world hate you, he says, I want y'all to know something first. They hated me before they hated you. So I realize that it's not because I've personally done anything to anyone. It's based on the moral system that I stand upon. And so therefore people hate me. They hate my speech. They hate my words. But when they hate me, they don't understand that they're actually hating the real, true Elohim God of the Bible. And that's why people are diametrically opposed against Pastor Dowell, because you see, the world wants a Jesus that will tell them that you have no laws, do as thou wilt, you have no rules and regulations, but this God that they're presenting to you is the God that loves you no matter what. I mean, you could be a Satanist, he loves you. You can be a lesbian. He loves you. You can be a homosexual, or he loves you. You can be a whore. He loves you. You can be an abuser of yourselves with mankind and just do any and out of everything. He loves you. That is the God that many of these religions in the world accept, but that's not the God of the Bible. And because I stand on these principles, people hate Pastor Dowell. I'll give you another one. I vehemently tell people, according to Matthew 10, you can start at verse 33 and read to the end, that your greatest foes, when you come to the real knowledge of the truth, is going to be they of your own household. It's amazing what happens. If you were in the world and you are a whore or a whoremonger, if you are a lesbian or homosexual or sodomite, if you're a cross-dresser or a transgender, everybody in the family, they may have spoke against you or about you behind the scene, tongue in cheek, but they will still love you. But when you come to the knowledge of the truth, first thing is going to happen. Nobody is going to avoid the sword. There's no discharge in this war. You're going to find out that your family, your father and the mother, the ones who birthed you, will hate you. And then you got your family members, your brothers, your sisters, and then everybody else, they will turn against you. They will tolerate you, but they're going to turn against you. And it's sad. I make no apologies about it. When I came to the knowledge of this truth, and I started walking in it, because remember, we live in a world that they want you to be a religious person that talks about the Bible and quotes the Bible, but just don't be one that lives it. And that's the difference with Straightway. We not only talk about it, but we show you by example and live an example of what the book says that we should be doing today. Somebody says, well, that ain't for me. Then the Bible ain't for you, because he doesn't write a book for the Hebrews and then tell you, okay, this is what I want you to do, and this is the example of my people, but I got something different from you because you live in a different dispensation of time. Wrong. What he says to one, he says to all. It's just that nobody today wants to implement what the book says. That is the real issue, and that is the real trouble. So whenever you see someone like myself and the people in the ministry who have separated themselves from the world, I mean, right now I'm out in the country, believe it or not, I'm way out in the country. And I'm out in the country because I don't want to live around people who are immoral. I don't want to live around people who relax the laws and the statutes and commandments of the Most High Yah. I don't want my children growing up in a school system, just like I just read an article this morning over in the UK, that the parents are allegedly outraged because the elementary school teachers are teaching the 6th graders, both boys and girls, how to pleasure themselves in the classroom. I don't want my children to be involved with that. So therefore, my Ishaias, they do not, meaning my wife, she does not, you listen to me, she does not, and our women do not work out on the job, because according to Hebrew culture, our women are to be chaste keepers at home. If they are daughters of Sarah, they will call their husbands master. And the Bible teaches them to train up a child in the way that they should go. That's Hebrew culture. But see, when people come up with their own theology and ideology and ideals, when it don't fit what they want to do, then they make you evil. That's what we got going on today. So no, nobody in the ministry is Straightway. We're not going to pimp our wives out to go out here and work on a job while the man stays at home like a pimp and collects all them funds and paychecks, and he acts like that he's some type of ruler or a patriarch. No, if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. And a woman ought to be a chaste keeper at home. Love her children, love her husband, guide the house. That's the way of the real true Israelites. So because in this world today, women have chosen to go out and get, watch this, I've seen this morning as well. They've chosen to go out and get a career. And now they're 31, 32 years old. They're judges, they're lawyers, they're defense attorneys, they're all of this. And guess what? They have no man in their lives. And they have no one suitable to them, because now they want to have a man that makes the same income that they do. And you can't do that in a feminist society when we have disproportionately a transfer of wealth like we've never seen in the history of mankind. Monogamous society, 70% divorce rate. Whew. Dysfunctional homes, children without fathers. It's bad. So when you stand on this truth, They will make you evil, but know this. If they talked about Jesus and they killed him, the most righteous man that ever lived on the face of planet Earth, if you claim to be his servants and you start doing what that Bible says and not just hearing, they will treat you the same exact way. So that's the ministry of Straightway Truth in a nutshell, pretty much. I'm not hated. Now, listen, they may be my enemies, but I don't have any. I don't have any. But, hey, he said you will be hated of all men for my name's sake. There's a reason why people can receive Joel Osteen. There's a reason why people can receive T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar, because they tell the people, using the Bible while they're holding it up, what they want to hear, but it ain't the truth. That's why it's called deception. And do you know that the Messiah of Israel, Jesus, Yahshua HaMashiach, he's already came to save his people from their sins. And the ones that are waking up, they're being delivered and they're being saved from their sins. But you know, the next time that when Jesus comes, Yahshua comes, that he's got this earth slated for death, that he's going to kill so many people, the blood is going to be up to the horse's bridle. You don't never hear about that Jesus. You never hear about that God of love and that God of judgment. He's coming, so you better get yourself ready. And you know what? For some of us, he's coming a hell of a lot sooner than in the end time of Armageddon. Because when death is at your door, your day of visitation is already here.